Good evening, all the joinees. Thank you so much for joining in. Hi, this is Prajakta. I would like to warmly welcome you all on behalf of NGEN Research. So, before really diving in into the webinar discussion, let us discuss what is our, topic-related discussion going to revolve around today. So, we are going to discuss holding analytics of mutual funds. In this major topic, what we will really discuss is how does month on month the portfolio of all the mutual funds taken together actually changes on a month on month basis. After that, we will see how does a individual funds holding analysis or asset allocation analysis can be seen on NGEN markets. So in this case, we will, for an example, analyze two funds. So one could be a regular, let's say, mid-cap fund or a large and mid-cap fund, and the other would be a arbitrage fund. Why we are really choosing arbitrage fund is because there are some hedged positions in the uh, portfolio, right? And that is exactly what we are highlighting on NGEN markets asset allocation, wherein you'll be able to see what all are the hedged positions and where are they really coming from, right? After that, we will understand how we can make a sense of the trend of all of these mutual funds in investing in one particular sector, or which sector are they extremely bullish on, right? Or by doing this month on month portfolio changes analysis, we will see that if there are increase in holdings of a particular stock that are happening, or there are major decreases, right? And we can also see the last 12 month on month changes, one on an individual fund level and two on overall level on a particular subcategory of mutual funds, right? After that, we will have a look at how we can generate really dynamic daily nav reports, which are that way very, very interactive. You can simply have a look at any category that you really want by a single click, right? And we can simply check how we can actually subscribe to those reports so that they get delivered on your email box every single morning. Finally, we will throw the forum open for a Q&A session wherein you can get your questions answered by either typing it in the chat box or unmuting yourself to speak. Let us now begin. So for the webinar specific discussion today, we are going to be focusing on funds section on NGEN markets, right? So fund section can be located here, right here. The fourth section is the funds section. When you simply go to the fund section, the default tab or the first tab that will load up is the screener tab. What we are currently going to focus on is the holding analysis tab, which is the third tab in the fund section. When you click on holdings analysis, you will see the entire tab has gotten divided into four different tabs. First is sector changes, next is stock changes, third is equity holdings, and fourth is debt holdings. Now let's first understand how do you read the data that is visible right here. So first of all, you can see that the entire trend of month on month portfolio changes or sectoral allocation changes is visible right here. So what we've done is month on month, last 12 months, left to right. Of course, left would be the oldest month, and the extreme right hand side would be the latest holdings across all the mutual funds in what sector? In asset class equity. So typically, if you go to the screener, we majorly have four buckets, which is equity, debt, hybrid, and others. Now, each and every subcategory into this equity asset class, right? So for an example, large and mid cap, large cap, mid cap, flexi caps, sectorals, value, contra, all of these are going to be in the equity bucket. These, of course, credit risk, banking, and PSU, all of these are going to be in the debt bucket. Hybrid, of course, comprises of dynamic asset allocation, BAF, equity hybrid, equity savings, arbitrage funds, and solution or the other typically means FOFs domestic, FOF overseas. Typically, all the quota gold funds or other gold funds will get located here. Right. So these are the four major buckets, and that is exactly what you will be seeing in the holding analysis in the drop down. So now what we are really looking at is check funds with asset class as equity. So now we are having a look at all the equity asset class subcategories of mutual funds. So what you see here, which is this count of funds under consideration, let's consider as of 30th of September 2023, which is of course latest, right? So we can see there are total 680 funds under consideration in the entire equity bucket. That of course belong to the all subcategories that really fall into equity bucket. Let's say for an example, if you were to analyze all the small caps, right? You want to do a trend analysis as to which sector is overweight currently across all the small cap funds taken together. So all you need to do is put in this small cap fund as a category in this SEBI category tab. I put in small cap funds here, and I can significantly see the number or the count of funds under consideration has reduced from about 680 to 25. Why is that so? Because the universe, we are trying to limit it to one particular category, right? Before we had the entire universe of the entire equity bucket. Now we are analyzing only 25 funds belonging to the small cap category, right? So we can see that finance as a sector is the highest weighted sector in terms of investments by all the small cap funds taken together. Why do I say that? That's because it is appearing at the top. If I simply click on sort this as per, ascending or rather descending to ascending. So the highest weighted is finance as a sector, which is 6.86% across all the small cap funds, right? And now the color coding that you can simply see here, that simply tells you if there was a month-on-month increase or was it a month-on-month reduction. So let us put it, or let us understand it in a better manner. So let's consider this particular month, 31st of Jan 2023. As compared to the previous month, immediately previous month, which was December, of course, there was an increase. So 6.01 plays a 6.17. There was an increase in percentage held into finance as a sector, and therefore this is color coded as green. On the other hand, the moment we move on to a February month, we can see the holdings into finance as a sector have dropped by more than by close to 1%, right? So 6.17, from 6.17, it fell to a 5.05%, right? And that is why this is color coded as red or pink. That's because there was a month-on-month reduction in that particular sector. So this is how you read these color codings. Now, after that, we can see since April of 2023, there's a clear trend that is visible here with respect to finance as a sector across all the funds in the small cap as a category, right? Consistently, month on month, there has been an increase in percentage allocation of small cap funds AUM into this particular sector. So as of now, we can see 30th September are the latest holdings. Our cycle typically at NGEN Markets runs between 8th to 13th of next month. So currently we are in the month of October, and these holdings for September 2023 have therefore gotten updated, right? Typically 31st October 2023 holdings will be updated by next month, that is November 8th to 13th. So that's how the cycle runs. Now let's simply click on this 6.86% and actually see which are all the small cap funds that really invest heavily into this finance as a sector. So for that, simply left click with mouse and this entire window opens up. So in this case, we can see that PGIM India Small Cap Fund has the highest allocation in the entire small cap bucket to finance as a sector, which is an allocation of 12.58% of its AUM into finance as a sector, which amounts to 215 crore. If you were to simply check the entire fund's AUM, what you need to do is simply click on the particular fund. It will definitely load up in a new tab, and that's how you can see the entire fund AUM, right? And out of that, about 200 crore is into finance as a sector. After that, let's say you want to check which is the lowest allocation into finance sector. Simply click on it again. It will get sorted in a reverse manner, which is now ascending to descending. And we can see Kotak Small Cap Fund has about 2.5 or 2.43% of its portfolio invested into this particular sector. Okay, this is for one particular fund in one particular subcategory analysis of a particular sector. Now, simply as we just did it for a small cap category, you can simply reverse it and maybe check it for a contra fund or for that matter value funds. which will give you an idea as to what is the, bullishness of each of the mutual funds category taken together towards investing into one particular sector. So let's, for an example, consider contra funds, who by nature have a reverse strategy of investing into the particular markets, right? So in this case, you can see the highest allocated sector is banks, right? Which is there are of course 3 funds. As you can see, the number of fund counts have reduced. It is just 3 now. There are 3 contra funds. Simply click on this particular cell and you will have the details, right? So Invesco, Kotak, and SBI, these are the 3 contra funds, and this is their allocation into banks as a sector. You can typically check this for any particular sector. Let's say you want to have a look at pharma as a sector. Simply hover there, and let's say you want to check as of 31st of July, what were the holdings. Click on this, it will show up. You want to check latest, simply click on locate basically the column heading and of course the cell. Click on that, we'll have the details. This is how you can check it for any particular sector. Now, let's say you want to do this analysis on a particular stock. Let's say you want to analyze that, okay, in particularly, large cap stocks, or for that matter, mid cap stocks, what are all the trend of mutual funds investing into all the mid cap funds, mid cap stocks taken together. So for that, you will have to move over to the stock changes, which is the next tab in holding analysis. The moment you click on that, the view, of course, the view that is at the bottom, at the mid of the screen changes by the case that we now have stocks here, right? Previously, we had sectors, all of the equity sectors listed right here. Now we have stocks, right? And now again, we have a drop down. So let's consider all the mid cap stocks. So simply in this drop down, click on mid caps, and all the mid cap stocks appear here. Now, let's say you want to analyze what are the trends, or what are the current investments by all the mutual funds taken together in equity as an asset class into IDFC First Bank as a stock, right? Simply repeat the process. Go on the extreme right-hand side. You can see this 30th of September 2023. The percentage held into IDFC First Bank is about 2.15%. And it happens to be a month-on-month reduction. Typically, if we consider only percentage. Now, simply click on this and actually have a look. Which are the funds actually investing into this particular bank? Now, when we come to stocks, this percentage reduction could be because of 2 reasons. One could be there is actual, sell-off by each of these funds in IDFC First Bank's shares, right? They've actually liquidated their holdings. On the other hand, the second reason could be, of course, mark to market of profits or losses in each of these stocks. So there is a way of checking that. So for that, you simply have to locate the toggle buttons that are available here. Currently, we were on percentage, right? We now have to go on shares held in lakhs. When we click on this, and now let's locate again IDFC First Bank. So IDFC First Bank is right here. We can see that there was an actual reduction in number of shares, right? So in so as on 31st of August 2023, the shares held in IDFC First Bank across all the mutual funds belonging to equity as asset class was about 1,946 lakh shares. On the other hand, as of 30th of September, there has been a reduction in the number of shares, meaning they've sold off their positions. And therefore, currently, as of 30th of September, there are 1,800 shares, 1,800 lakh shares held by all the mutual funds in this particular stock. So this one insight becomes very, very crucial to understand whether the reduction, or for that matter increase, is coming because of additional positions that are being taken up, or is it just because of the mark to market of losses or profits that is happening, right? And that one analysis, you can simply do that by using a simple toggle button between shares held in lakhs and percentage terms. And let's say if you want to have a look at how many funds are there, meaning the count of them, you can definitely check box this, and into brackets, it will actually show the number of funds actually investing into that particular stock. So in this case, IDFC First Bank is what we were discussing. So there are 79 mutual funds currently holding some shares, some amount of shares into this particular stock, right? This is how you can use stock changes for analyzing holdings analysis month on month. Now, similar to this, we also have something called as the equity holdings and a debt holdings tab. Now, this becomes an effective way of, let's say you want to search in one particular stock you have in mind, and you by nature do not know whether it is large cap, mid cap, small cap, right? You have the name of that stock and you want to know which all are the mutual funds investing into that particular stock, right? So let's take a simple example. We had Jupiter, Life Sciences as a stock. Really, it launched its IPO last month. So simply you want to check which all mutual funds have taken positions into that particular stock. So simply search for that particular stock. So it was Jupiter Life Sciences. It is in healthcare. Simply click on this. And we have all the mutual funds list, which has some positions into this particular stock. So we can see SBI Magnum Children's Benefit Fund has 4.54% of its AUM invested into this particular stock, right? So this becomes like a query that you're running. So you can simply name any particular stock and entire list appears here. So the entire fund's AUM happens to be a 1,200 crore, out of which 4% happens to be 56 crore. 56 odd crore, and 56 odd crore is invested by SBI Magnum Children's Benefit Fund into this particular stock. These are the interpretations of these first three columns. After that, what we really have is respective mutual funds performance over the last over the last periods. So for an example, in this case, it says 1 month performance of this particular fund. So in the last 1 month, this fund, which is SBI Magnum, by the way, has generated a positive return of about 1%, 0.90 to be precise. On the other hand, in the last 6 months, it has gone up by 20%. In the last 1 year, it has generated a return of about 23%. Right? So these statistics are belonging or really relate to this particular fund. Let's say if you're, you want to do this for this particular fund, UTI Healthcare, you can see the last 1 month, it has generated a negative 0.18% return, right? On the other hand, last 6 months returns were about positive 22%, and last 1 year was about 23%. Right? And of course, all of this, a dump of all of this can be taken into Excel. So wherever you can see this blue icon, you can simply click on this and a Excel sheet will get downloaded. I will quickly show how it will really look like. So this is how it will look. Right? These are all the fund names, or whatever view we were really having a look at on NGEN Markets. That is exactly what will get exported. Right? Fund AUM, alongside that are the return performances. Let us go back. So this is for equity, basically stocks, right? You have any particular stock in mind, simply do a keyword search and put in the name of the stock and all the mutual funds will appear. Similarly, you can also do the same thing for checking what all mutual funds hold into debt securities of a particular stock. Let's say, for an example, you want to analyze as to which all mutual funds, of course, these will be from debt category, invest into debt securities of, let's say, for an example, JSW Steel. So what will you do is, in this case, the name of the company or the name of the stock has to be put in on the right hand side and not on the left hand side, because this will directly, this will here what it says is search debt security, right? What we are really putting in is the name of the stock, right? So let's put in JSW Steel here and do a keyword search. So we can see that these are all the mutual funds which invest into AA rated debt securities of this particular stock. So we have DSP Credit Risk Fund, which has the highest percentage held into debt securities of this particular security, which is JSW Steel. On the other hand, Baroda BNP Paribas Balanced Advantage Fund has the lowest allocated to this particular stock's debt security. The credit rating is visible here. That is an addition that comes when we are analyzing debt holdings, or for that matter, debt securities of a particular stock. Right? That's the debt holdings. this was a overall trend analysis month on month across all the mutual funds taken together. Right now, let us see if you were to actually analyze one particular fund and you want to see what is the trend of that particular fund, adding in positions, removing positions, and what does its asset allocation really look like. So for that, what we need to do is at the top panel on NGEN Markets, just type in the name of the fund. So let's say we want to have a look at Motilal Oswal large and mid cap. Type in the name of the fund, it will get loaded in a new tab. And here is where the first tab or the second tab for that matter is the asset allocation tab. Now that tells you what are the current holdings of this particular fund. Now this is on a fund level. We previously did it on an entire universe of mutual funds across different categories. Now this is on a single fund level. So we can see that there are 38 positions that are really taken in by this particular mutual fund. And as you can see, these are updated as of 30th of September 2023. You will see the date on the top right-hand side, right? These are the holdings updated as of 30th of September. These are, as you can see, 99% of the portfolio is into equity. And these are all the mutual funds. Now, if you want to see which were the largest increases that were really made by this particular fund in the last month as compared to the previous month, meaning as compared to 31st of August holdings, what were the new positions taken or what were the largest increases or decreases that were really made by this particular fund, you need to go on the second tab right here, which is position changes by month. When you come here, there's a drop down that is available wherein you can toggle and shift between month on month changes over the last 12 months, right? So in this case, we are currently seeing it for 30th of September 2023 as compared to 31st of August 2023, right? As compared versus to the previous month, what were the largest increases? So you can see Glenmark Pharma as a stock was added by the particular fund in its portfolio, and it happened to be the largest increase that this fund has made. So that amounts to 1.72% in its portfolio holdings. On the other hand, the largest decrease was in Infosys and ICICI Bank, right? About less than 1%. On the other hand, what you can see on the right-hand side, these are the completely new positions or completely new stocks that were taken in by these particular mutual funds in the last month, which is as on 30th of September. So in September 2023. So we can see NTPC, and of course, there's this Jupiter, right? This particular stock had its IPO. So we can see there's some position being taken by this particular fund in September month, right? On the other hand, Ultratech Cement was as a stock or a holding was removed completely by this particular mutual fund, right? This is position changes by month on month. Now, similar to what we were seeing priorly, if you want to see positions changes over time, month on month across different sectors. So what was the trend of Motilal Oswal large and mid cap fund of investing into banks as a sector, or for that matter, pharma as a sector? All you need to do is click on position changes by month. When you simply go here, you can see, first of all, first view, of course, is by security. Let's first understand by sector, right? There's a simple toggle button which will help you shift between by security and by sector. We have currently chosen the toggle of by sector, and we can see that, okay, in banks as a sector, there was currently the fund's holding is about 15.69% into banks as a sector. And that happens to be a month-on-month reduction. As of 31st of August, it was about 17%, which has now come down to 15.69%. Okay, for that matter, in pharma as a sector, it happens to be a month-on-month increase. Okay, previous month it was about 3.46%, and now it is about 4.89. Right, this is for sectors. Now you can also check this on a security level. Of course, the color coding remains the same. I'm not explaining that again, but it remains the same, and it is even highlighted here, right? So if there's a red, that happens to be a month-on-month reduction. And if it appears to be in green, month-on-month, it was an increase, right? Let's now come to understand it by security. Using this toggle, let us shift between by security. Now we can see that in ICICI Bank, as a stock, there was a reduction in percentage held by this particular fund as compared to the previous month. But because this is a security analysis, we can actually make a sense as to what all numbers were actually increased. Rather, was it because of really increasing or reduction of positions or shares, or was it only allocable or attributable to mark-to-market losses? So this can also be done on a single fund level. Using this drop down, choose shares in lakhs. The moment I do that, I can see ICICI Bank appears right here, right? And as on 31st of August, 10.72 lakh shares were held by Motilal Oswal Large Cap Fund into ICICI Bank as a stock. On the other hand, as we came to September, this was reduced from a 10.72 lakh shares to a 10.22 lakh. And therefore, you can see this in red. On the other hand, if you just shift to a little bit on the right hand side, you can see that as on 31st of July 2023, the holdings into ICICI Bank were about 10.72 lakhs. Those have remained the same as on 31st of August 2023. Then why is that color coded as green? The reason behind that is this was the month when there was an actual increase in typically the stock price, right? If you simply check this in percentage terms, you will see the difference. The moment I do that, I can typically see that typically there was a increase in the share price, and that is exactly what is highlighted here. That's a security level position changes by month analysis that you can do on a single fund level. Let us now analyze as to how you can simply take a dump of all these holdings analysis in one single Excel sheet. So typically in overview, what you can do is download one particular fund's holdings, right? And this will get downloaded in Excel sheet. Of course, this will belong to one particular fund. But let's say you want to analyze the entire category as such. Okay, let's say you want to do category analysis on entire large and mid cap, right? And its holdings into one particular sector for that matter, or for that matter, even stock, right? So what will you do is go back to NGEN Markets majors section, which is compare section. When you go here, there is a tab which lets you add in the entire SEBI category, right? So in this case, we are having a look at large and mid cap as a category. In order to load the entire category mutual funds, you simply go on add groups tab that you can see in the compare section and choose that category. So large and mid cap, there are 27 funds in that particular category. You add all of them up here. In one single click, all of them will get added, 27 mutual funds. And once these are here in the compare section, all you need to simply do is go to bulk download. When you go to bulk download, what it will do is the entire 27 funds holding analysis or the asset allocation will be consolidated in one single Excel sheet, and you can simply take a dump of it in your system. So you click on bulk download and you can see 27 mutual funds current holdings, right? Click on this Excel icon and the entire holding analysis will get downloaded. Let us see how it will look like. I hope my Excel sheet is visible, and this is how it is going to look. So by doing some basic filters, what we can typically do is what we were just doing in the fund section, the trend analysis, right? Or for that matter, one particular funds analysis. We can simply replicate that. So let's just and apply some basic filters. The moment I apply filters here, I can actually check on the basis. Let's say I want to have a list of all the mutual funds belonging to large and mid cap as a category, investing into Infosys as a stock, right? All I will do is I will go and search for Infosys. One second. And I click on apply. So I can see this is the list of all the large and mid cap funds investing into Infosys as a stock. Of course, this is as on 30th of September 2023, right? Of course, this is for one particular category, which is large and mid cap. That's the one that we had chosen. This is one thing that you can do. In addition to that, what you can also do is you can check what our mutual funds are investing in one particular sector, because we also have a filter or a download of a sector wise analysis, right? You want to check in healthcare as a sector, which all mutual funds hold, right? So simply look at healthcare as a sector, click on apply, and you can see, okay, these are the mutual funds investing into healthcare as a sector, and these are their percentages. Okay, this analysis can be done using the bulk download option that is there in the compare section, this one. Once this is through, let's now understand how you can really download the daily NAV reports. Those are which are again dynamic daily NAV reports that get generated and processed every single day, right? To locate that, need to go back to the fund section, and immediately after holding analysis, there is a tab for reports. The moment you go there, you will see these two different Excel sheets, which are for regular as well as direct funds. So let's consider 13th of October 2023, a report that got processed on 13th of October 2023, which is today. And it would have all the NAVs updated as of yesterday. So 12th of October NAVs. And I will quickly show how that is going to look like. So this is how a dynamic Excel report can get downloaded. And what you can do is, by dynamic, I really mean what you can do is it's a linked sheet, right? The entire sheets, all the sheets are linked. So let's say you want to have a look at all the flexi caps. Simply click on that, and you want to have a look at their split into large, mid, and small, right? Which are all the mutual funds investing their AUM into large cap, right? So large cap stocks. So the category average will definitely appear at the top. So this is the category average of all the flexi caps. Category average is about 59% into large cap. On the other hand, these are the individual funds weightages into large cap funds, mid cap funds, small cap funds, split. This is, of course, one thing. The other thing that gets downloaded, of course, the daily NAVs, their TERs, total expense ratios, AUM, and some basic parameters like 1 month return, 3 month return, 6 month return, and so on. Right? You can simply go back to index by clicking on one single icon. It will take you back to the index, and you can have a look at some other category. Let's say now you want to analyze, let's say dynamic asset allocation, a BAF, right? So click on that. It will load in this particular sheet automatically, and you can have a look. Now, towards the end, let us simply load in one of the BAF category funds and actually check how does arbitrage positions or hedged positions in the fund that the fund really takes in get captured on NGEN Markets. So for that, again, let's go back and directly search for, let's say, a BAF category fund. Kotak Balanced Advantage. I click on this. Once it gets loaded in a new tab, you can see asset allocation, which is the second tab here, now shows a red highlight or a red tag, which says, okay, there are some short positions that are found in this particular asset allocation of this particular fund. If we consider net equity positions, if we were to have a look at those, you can simply click on apply these, right? So when you untick apply, it will typically have all the short positions included in the equity portion. You can see it is 68%, right? The moment you click on apply shorts, it will reduce it from 68% to about a 51%. That's exactly 17% short positions, and that is exactly what is highlighted here, right? So net equity in this particular fund is about a 51%. If you want to have a look at which are these hedged positions or short positions, simply click on show shorts, and it will take you to this this particular scroll down, and you can see that, okay, Tata Motors, TCS, ICICI Bank, all of these are the hedged positions that are taken by this particular mutual fund. Right? This is how you can have a look at balanced advantage category, or for that matter, any category which has exposure into or has taken in hedged positions. That's about it from my side for the topic related webinar. We can now throw the forum open for a Q&A session. If you have any questions, please feel free to type it in the chat box or directly unmuting yourself to speak. Thank you.
If anyone has any specific questions, please let us know. Okay, if there are no more questions, Prajakta, we can please close for today.
Yes, sir. So thank you so much for joining in. There's one question. So there's one question in the chat box which says this might not be related to the specific topic. However, may I know if it is possible to drill down in individual portfolios at stock level? Yes. Yes, you can do that. So let's say this is a portfolio, right, of a client. Let's say Anurag Khatri, right? And you can see there are no direct stock holdings in the portfolio. It's only mutual funds portfolio, no direct stocks, right? You simply click on run analytics, and portfolio analytics will get run on this entire portfolio, right? And after that, what you can simply do is check the asset allocation tab, which happens to be, of course, the first tab. And you can see in equity, all the underlying stocks where the fund is, rather where the portfolio is exposed to appear here, right? You can see that the portfolio, in spite of having no direct equity positions, is still exposed to HDFC Bank as a stock to an extent of close to 4%. Where is that coming from? Simply click on this I button and you will have that. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 funds in the portfolio which hold some percentage of their portfolio into HDFC Bank. And that is how the portfolio is exposed to HDFC Bank as a stock. Right, so this is possible and this is available. Rather, you can even check this for any minuscule component in the portfolio as well. So you can see there's some foreign equity just about less than 1% in the portfolio. These are the underlying. You can simply check on this I button, click on this I button. You can see that, okay, ICICI Prudential Value Discovery Fund, which happens, of course, to be a part of this portfolio, has some percentage of its portfolio invested into this particular foreign equity stock, which is, and that's how the portfolio is exposed to that particular stock, right? So you can have this drill down.
There's a follow-up question, Prajakta. If you can just go to the portfolio section and just load any mutual fund, a small mutual fund portfolio. The question is if the portfolio has a fund, a few funds as well as stocks. So we'll just show you, just run any, any mutual fund portfolio. We can add a stock quickly and show them.
Okay.
So yes, so the answer is yes. So here, for example, we have a portfolio of 9 mutual funds only, and we're editing it. So actually, hold on, before you, HDFC or something, put a common stock that will be there in the fund as well as a direct holding. Okay, so let's put that, maybe, you can just run it. Okay, so now we have a portfolio with a few stocks and one stock here and some funds. So now when we look at asset allocation, you'll see HDFC Bank actually has a 12% exposure. 10% of that is coming from direct equity. You can see that's in a different color and clearly marked separately. And you can see the remainder of the HDFC Bank stock exposure is coming through mutual fund holdings. So there's one more question, is how do you put CDSL statements or any other statements? So we have a statement analyzer here. We can just click and show it for a second. So here we basically accept any standard holding statements from NSDL, CDSL, and CAMS. So you can upload them here using a password. It will basically go through the file and save the data of the file under your login, which you can later, either inspect or you can load these portfolios in the portfolio section. You just go to create new and you load any portfolio from the statement analyzer. So you have to first upload the statement there. save the data, and then you'll be able to bring the data into this analytics section and then run it properly and see what everything looks like. So we don't have direct data for PMS and AIFs because it's not very freely available, unfortunately. And even when it is, the holding data for PMS and AIF is, usually they just show top 5, top 10 holdings, etc. So complete holdings are not really available like they are for mutual funds. But if you do have kind of monthly closing prices or valuations of your client's portfolio in a PMS or AIF, you can upload them. So it's a little bit more work here, but you can basically upload that data onto here, save it as a custom security, and then you can either analyze it separately or you can even add it as part of your portfolio. And to upload the data, the process is pretty simple. You just need to have an Excel file where you've got the date and prices in a column. So there's a little GIF that's constantly running in a loop here, which shows you how to do it. You can just copy and paste inside this box. It will basically validate the data and show you the result, and then you can save it. Yeah. So the question is, if in an existing portfolio, if you want to make some changes, trim a percentage holding in a mutual fund, or even add another one. So it's pretty easy to do. So in the portfolio section, for example, just run test for a second. So this is a portfolio. We got 10 things here. We got 9 funds and a stock. What you do is you edit, and let's delete a couple of funds and maybe change a couple of percentages and rescale it. So we made some small changes, and what you do is you save as new. So you basically say, test underscore, I don't know, 1, 2, whatever you would put, yeah. And create it. Now you got 2 portfolios, one, the original test, and then this one. Now what you do is you go to compare portfolios, which is that button right there. You can also access this from the compare section. That's where it takes you. So then you can load. You meant in client portfolios, not in model portfolios. So sure, this process is not very different. If you want to edit anything, you have to take it to the portfolio section. So if you're in the client section and you look at a client portfolio, you have to, there's a very easy button. So it copies these holdings to the portfolio section. So you click it once and it will basically, so this is already exported there. Yeah, you click it once and basically it'll create the portfolio in the portfolio section for you automatically. And in the portfolio section, you have to then edit it. And what you can do is when you come back to the compare section, after you made your changes here, in this case, you don't even have to change in a different name because the original portfolio is in the client section, the altered portfolio is over here. And when you go to the compare portfolio section here, on the left side, you load it from, you can load from the original client, right? So you have to make sure that you click the name of the client inside RTA clients here. And on the right-hand side, you click it from the portfolio section, which has, let's say, your changes in it. Yeah, like that. There's another question saying you did put CDSL statements, but NJMF is not showing in Excel file. If you send us the file on support@ngenresearch.com, we can check it. If there's any problems, we'll check it. The issue with PDF files is they are notorious for issues like this. So the vast majority of files, as we can see from our logs, are in fact parsed correctly, but we do have issues sometimes. So if you just send us the file on support@ngenresearch.com, we'll check what the issue is and address it. But even a tiny change by the PDF provider can throw the parsing process off. So just send it to us at support@ngenresearch.com and we'll have a look at it. So here, this is an example of you loading a client, Ankit Amin, from the client section And on the right-hand side, this is the copy of that, which we took to the portfolio section, made some changes and loaded it here. So here you can actually easily show the client that if we added that fund, this is the difference it will make. Any other questions, please let us know. Okay, looks like there's nothing more. So Prajakta, we can close for today.
Yes. So thank you everyone for joining in. You can definitely check out our previous webinar recordings on our YouTube channel. You will find a link to our YouTube channel right in the login. On the right-hand side, you'll have a YouTube video. Simply go on that. And there's a dedicated playlist that is created on our channel for all the webinar related topics. So already 84 topics uploaded. You can definitely have a look. Alternatively, if you're having if you're facing any issues with respect to one particular section on the platform, you can definitely check out our NGEN shorts, which are typically 1 odd minute videos, which will help you in navigating through the platform. So thank you everyone again for joining in. Have a great weekend ahead. Thank you.